Hello there, colleagues and friends. Welcome back. Dr. Nefertiti Pointer with the Devereaux Center for Resilient Children. It's so nice to have a few minutes of your time. We are in video number 3 of our limited series, and we're talking about the word toxic positivity. Today, I want to talk about what can go wrong if we don't get this right. Did you hear what I said? What can go wrong if we don't get this right? I'm leaning on some of the work of Professor George Bonanno, who is professor of clinical psychology at Columbia University's Teachers College. And Professor Bonanno has been researching post-traumatic stress and or post-traumatic growth, as Dr. Bruce Perry calls it. And Professor Bonanno has looked at, for example, the lives of individuals after 9/11. And I find his work to be very encouraging. And he puts forth a few ideas for us to think about of what can go wrong if we don't get this right. First things first, team members. If we continue, and I will say continue because I think in some places we've confused optimism and hope with toxic positivity. But if we are not careful and we continue to confuse these two concepts, what happens to the person who is leaning upon optimism and hope as a contributing factor to their resilience? If the message is don't do that because you're being toxically positive, what happens to that person's opportunity to use hope and optimism as a contributing factor to their resilience? Oh my gosh, team, when I read that, it made me want to make sure I was being more careful of using the word toxic, thinking about toxically positive people and not confusing those people with people who are using hope and optimism as their protective factor. Today, I want to say to you very clearly, hope and optimism are contributing factors to an individual's resilience. If we confuse that with toxically positive behavior, then we're missing an opportunity to have that person be better because they leaned into hope and optimism. That's the first thing. Second thing I want to give you an example of, and this one spoke very loudly to me. If we confuse toxic positive behavior with a person who chooses hope and optimism, then the person who chooses hope and optimism, their voice gets very, very, very small. You ever been in a room where you wanted to say something, but you didn't feel as if it was being heard, and then you stopped talking? If we don't lift up people who are using hope and optimism as a contributing factor to their resilience, then their voice gets quiet and quiet. And I don't think that that is something that we want. And so today, as I prepare to say, see you soon, I want you to think about that person who you know the world looks at him or her and thinks that they've got it all together. The world looks at you and they think that you have it all together. But the world doesn't know about those few times where your life's rubber band was being stretched. And you didn't know that word toxically positive. What you did know was hope. What you did know was faith. What you did know was optimism. And those are the contributing factors to your being better than you were before you started. We want to give voice to that because it's a protective factor that contributes to resilience. So let's not mix up toxically positive behavior with hope and faith and optimism. All right. Thank you. I hope I've given you something to think about. Share the video. Talk to us down in the comments below. Let's do it together. We're having a conversation, a limited series conversation about optimism. About optimism. That's what I really want to talk about. But we're having a limited conversation about toxically positive behavior. Dr. Nefertiti Pointer with the Devereaux Center for Resilient Children. I'll see you next time.